Today we are opening the conversation with something that could redefine the defensive identity of the Toronto Maple Leafs for the 2025-26 season. When we talk about strategic decisions on a team already considered one of the most competitive in the NHL, every move on the ice and every choice made by the general manager can determine whether the team shines in the playoffs or is eliminated earlier than expected. And this is exactly why the recent rumor that appeared on Heavy.com draws so much attention. A possible trade between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Anaheim Ducks involving Radko, Gudas and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. For fans, it might seem like just another off-season speculation, but if we analyze every detail, every statistic, and every tactical impact, it becomes clear that this deal has the potential to significantly shift the balance of the Leafs' blue line. Today, we will dissect this trade idea, understand the motivations of each side, evaluate the players involved, and project what this could mean for Toronto not only in the regular season, but especially in the playoffs. The rumor itself is relatively straightforward, but carries deep implications. Toronto would potentially add Radko Gudas, a defenseman known for his physical intensity and relentless presence, while the Ducks would receive Oliver Ekman-Larsson and a third-round pick in 2028. At first glance, it might look like a trade of physicality for offensive production, but the reality is far more complex. Each player brings a unique style, leadership approach, and mentality that influence not only the ice, but also the locker room and team culture. Let's start with Radko Gudas. He is entering the final year despite still playing at a high level. Value represents a short-term $12 million. At 1.83 meters tall and 93 kilograms, Gudas is not just a sturdy defenseman. He is the type of player who changes the dynamic of any game with his physical presence. Last season, he recorded 1 goal and 15 assists, totaling 16 points in 81 games. Statistically, the numbers may not stand out, but Gudas' value goes beyond points. His true strength lies in how he plays every minute of every game with grit, determination, and defensive intelligence. He is the kind of defenseman who is not intimidated by the league's top forwards and knows exactly how to put his body between the puck and the net, protect his goalie, and command the defensive zone with authority. Gudas' leadership is another crucial factor. He is the captain of the Ducks and, as such, carries the responsibility of guiding the team both on and off the ice. General Manager Pat Verbeek emphasized his role. Radko emerged as a natural leader who embodies all the qualities of a captain and earns the respect of his teammates, our coaching staff, and his peers. For Toronto, which seeks to solidify a strong and reliable blue line, bringing in a captain with experience not only strengthens the defense physically, but also creates a voice of authority that can guide the team's young talents, transforming them into more confident and resilient players. In addition to leadership, Gudas brings playoff experience. With 57 playoff games and 829 regular season games in his career, he has faced high-pressure moments, understands the intensity and emotional demands of crucial series, and knows what it takes to win when it matters most. This experience is essential for Toronto, which, despite having one of the most talented blue lines in the NHL, still needs veterans capable of holding the team steady during critical moments and serving as a reference for younger defenders. On the other side of the trade, Oliver Ekman-Larsson presents quite different characteristics. He is a more offensive-minded defenseman who likes to carry the puck, create plays, and actively contribute to scoring. Last season, Ekman-Larsson recorded 4 goals and 25 assists, totaling 29 points in 77 games. He is in the second year of a 4-year $14 million contract, which still provides stability and trade value. For the Ducks, Ekman-Larsson represents mobility, offensive generation, and a strategic asset that can be used in future deals, either to reinforce the attack or to secure additional draft picks. For Toronto, giving up Ekman-Larsson is less about losing production and more about redirecting the team's defensive identity. Analyzing the tactical impact, The Maple Leafs already have one of the most balanced and skilled blue lines in the NHL, but general manager Brad Treliving has made it clear that his vision is to have a team that is not only skilled, but also resilient and physical. In today's game, I like the extension of our defense. I like the composition of our defense. We still need to be able to exit our own zone. Part of the way we play lends itself to giving up some volume. Treliving commented, "This means Toronto is seeking balance. The defense needs to be solid and technical, but also intimidating, capable of handling heavy attacks and commanding respect in any playoff series." Gudas delivers precisely that: physical presence, smart positioning, and experience to command the defense in the toughest moments. Visually, it's easy to imagine Gudas' impact on the blue line. Video cuts could show decisive hits, strategic blocks, takeaways, and plays where he protects the goalie. Each action conveys intensity, strength, and command, elements that elevate the perception of the team as a whole. Alongside young talents, Gudas could act as a reference, guiding less experienced defenders on positioning, zone exits, and reading the play, which is extremely valuable in playoff series where a single mistake can mean elimination. The trade also offers insights into Toronto's long-term strategy. A one-year $12 million contract for Gudas is a significant but reasonable commitment, considering what he brings in experience, leadership, and physical presence. In exchange for a future third-round pick in Ekman-Larsson, the Maple Leafs add immediate defensive reinforcement while compromising future assets significantly. It is a move that emphasizes a team's identity and its capacity to compete in playoffs, rather than just accumulating offensive points in the regular season. Moreover, Gudas is not just a physical defenseman. He is a mentor and a model for the younger members of the roster. Toronto has talented defenders, but bringing in a veteran who leads by example can accelerate the development of emerging players, preparing them not only for the regular season, but also for the intensity of playoff hockey. This type of influence goes beyond statistics and is reflected in confidence, decision-making, and emotional stability in high-pressure situations. In contrast with Ekman-Larsson, we see a defenseman who generates more offensive points, but whose style may not perfectly align with the philosophy Treliving wants to implement. While Ekman-Larsson contributes to the attack, Gudas brings consistency, intensity, and physical presence, qualities that are crucial when the ice heats up in the playoffs. It is a choice about how Toronto wants to define itself as a team. Less focus solely on numbers and more on defensive strength, leadership, and the ability to withstand the toughest Eastern Conference rivals. Another dimension worth highlighting is locker room chemistry and cultural impact. A player like Gudas not only improves on-ice performance, but also elevates the standard of behavior and commitment within the group. His experience and professional demeanor, on and off the ice, serve as an example to young talents, creating an atmosphere of responsibility, focus, and motivation, essential for teams seeking consistent playoff success. The Ducks, for their part, receive Ekman-Larsson and a future pick, which gives them flexibility. Ekman-Larsson provides defensive mobility, playmaking ability, and a valuable piece for future strategies. The 2028 third-round pick adds an additional asset, ensuring Anaheim has options to develop or trade in the future. For them, it is a trade that balances immediacy with strategic planning. Projecting scenarios for Toronto, we can imagine playoff series against physical and aggressive teams. Gudas could occupy strategic positions on the penalty kill, play heavy minutes, and serve as a defensive reference in critical moments. His presence makes the blue line harder to penetrate, protects the goalie, and creates a sense of security for forwards and younger defenders. He is the type of player who transforms the team's mood, not just through skill, but through attitude, strength, and experience. Narratively, for a video, it would be interesting to intercut footage showing Gudas in hits, blocks, and leadership on the ice, alongside comparative graphs of his statistics versus Ekman-Larsson, such as hits per game, 5-on-5 minutes, power play, and penalty kill participation. This helps viewers visualize the real impact of the trade, making the narrative more cinematic and engaging. We also cannot forget that Gudas impacts the community off the ice, strengthening the club's culture and franchise identity. He is a complete leader, not only in terms of the game, but also as an example of professionalism and behavior, something Brad Treliving certainly values. This dimension further reinforces that the trade is not just about numbers or contracts, but about team philosophy, vision, and style. In summary, this potential trade is about identity, style of play, and leadership. Toronto gives up an offensive and valuable defenseman, Ekman-Larsson, to acquire Gudas, who delivers experience, physicality, leadership, and the ability to command the defense in the toughest moments. For the Ducks, the trade provides offensive mobility and future assets. For Toronto, it is a practical implementation of philosophy, building a blue line that is hard to face, reliable, intense, and prepared for any playoff scenario. Therefore, when we hear rumors of Gudas arriving in Toronto, we don't just see a name. We see a team strategy being put into practice, a veteran who strengthens not only the ice, but also the culture, leadership, and defensive philosophy of a team aiming to finally transform potential into concrete success. Every hit, every block, every guidance given to young defenders represents more than a game moment. It represents a construction of a winning identity, something that could be decisive in the Toronto Maple Leafs' journey toward the Stanley Cup. If we imagine the video's visual narrative, we could combine footage of Gudas leading the Ducks, analyses of critical games, interviews with Verbeek discussing his leadership, and comparative graphics with Ekman-Larsson, creating an experience almost like a mini documentary that explains not only what the trade means, but why to redefine the defensive and competitive future of the Maple Leafs.